Hello all, I hope you're well. It's that time of the week again where we get together and chat all things home and away, of course. I'm Si Hampton. This is Coastal News, an unofficial home and away podcast where we recap the latest episodes on Channel 5 and 5 Star here in the UK. And this week has been a very big gift for all home and away viewers. You'll all know what I mean. It's been a jam-packed, action-packed, hilarious week all rolled into one. We have the fallout from the reveal of Anne being the stalker of Tane. We have Marilyn waking up from her coma, but not everything is as it seems. We've got YouTube viral challenges, and we've got Bella and Nick sort of coming to some agreement with social media, but will it last? Let's find out. And I'm joined this week by a fellow home and away fan and podcast listener, Sophie. How are you doing, Sophie?
Hiya, I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you very much for joining me on Coastal News podcast.
No worries.
It's been a big week in the Bay. We're gonna unpack it for everybody now, and obviously discuss. And it's been nice to have someone to discuss things with this week. I'm really excited that you're here chatting with me about all things homers.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for inviting me.
It's all right, don't worry. So we started off the week, didn't we, with the sort of aftermath, the fallout from the big Friday cliffhanger of Anne revealing rather stupidly and inadvertently that she was the social media. It was like a post on Instagram or something, wasn't it? That sort of gave her away.
She put something about the burnt receipt, didn't she? And then Flick was like, "You're the only one that knows about that, so it's got to be you." And then her face was just like, "Yeah, prove it."
Yeah, and we're all just like, finally, the Benny.
Yeah, definitely.
For days, it was just like, what on earth? How does she not put two and two together here, girl?
I know, bless her. She took a long time to get there, didn't she? But she's there now.
So obviously,
I'm not sure what the motive is, though. Are you like? Cause I know she said, "Oh, he spoke to me funny in the club and all that stuff," and I'm like, well, is that it seems a bit extreme if it's just that,
It's a bit odd, isn't it? Like, we had a bit of a run in, and now he's like, I'm going to kill him.
I know, it's like you can't go around just poisoning everyone that talks to you bad.
It's a bit of a jump, isn't it? Yeah, it's. I mentioned this last week. So personally, it can only be one or two things. Either she's like really jealous, and because she's had a thing with Tane that we didn't see,
possibly.
right? Or she's jealous, like she's got a flame for Flick, like she's into Flick. I don't know. Like to me, that's the only plausible explanation.
It's got to be jealousy. I was thinking maybe because obviously Tane took Flick home, maybe he didn't take Anne home. Maybe she's a bit sore about that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, even then it's weak, isn't it? You know what I mean?
It is a bit. And I was also thinking, hang on a minute. She works in a nightclub. She works in hospitality. She's dealing with drunk people. This can't be the only person that's talked back to her.
That is so true. She's true.
A bit thicker skin.
Oh my God, absolutely. Yeah, she's in the wrong profession, isn't she?
She is a bit, yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. So it is so weak. It's untrue. And to be honest with you, the investigation's got more holes than a colander.
It has a bit, yeah.
Like no one. I mean, they can tell where you are with your phone these days. Yeah. They've not fingerprinted the caravan. They've not done nothing. So I can forgive a lot, but like I'm struggling to just go with this. But never mind.
It's funny because everybody thinks it's her, apart from the victim. Tani is the only one that's like, no, it can't be her. So everyone else. I know
he's changed his tune.
Yeah. Like, everyone else is absolutely gunning for her, and he's like, no, it's not her. It's so weird.
I know. It's really nuts, isn't it? But like before the attack, though, it was like, leave me alone, you stalker. And now it's like, oh, she couldn't do it. Like, okay.
So maybe
Let's just
he's
go
got a
with
bit
it.
of a soft spot for her in the end. Maybe it's that. We don't know, do we? We don't know what's going to happen. But
Maybe. I mean, they're spelling it out for us loud and clear, aren't they?
yeah,
But yeah, it's been an interesting investigation, and the detective's a bit odd. I mean,
yeah. He just wants to just put her away, doesn't he? He's just, yeah, it's
yeah,
you, and you lied to me. And I mean,
yeah,
she was a bit daft for lying about her alibi and all of that. So it was a bit like the boy that cried wolf. You know, oh, actually, it's Anne. It's like, really? Okay.
yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
that was going to happen. That you could see that right from when they concocted the alibi, couldn't you? That like
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
clearly not going to go awry. So,
Yeah.
so Anne is she Anne is Tane's stalker. We've found that
Mm.
out, and Flick has now realised, and she has that scene, doesn't she, where she sort of legs it up the beach to Cash, and she's like, "Cash, it's Anne," and he's
Yeah.
like, "Just don't believe you.
Yeah.
You need proof," and she's like, "How dare you not believe me?" And it's like, "Girl, he's not going to believe you, you know."
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can't, have an alibi with her 1 minute and then go, oh, actually, no, it was her the next minute. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and
she's been a
all the
bit daft.
evidence. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you've all the evidence is in your caravan, love.
Yeah, I
But
know.
there we go.
Bless her.
Um, so she sort of after that she skips town, doesn't she? Or
Mm.
Cash sort of he sort of comes full circle again.
Yeah.
From that to like, okay, maybe she is telling the truth again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because
Yeah.
he has that moment, doesn't he, where he goes to the police station and he sort of goes, have you got any other leads? Have you got, check everything type thing to the
Mm.
detective? And then he's
Yeah.
like, we're going out to arrest her. There's a warrant now. Like, we're
Yeah.
going to arrest her. So then he
Yeah.
sort of chases, what we assume is chases them to the caravan park where they obviously discover the caravan packed up and Flick's gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she's out, she's left town. The police are thinking, right, she's guilty as she's banged to rights, isn't she, at this point?
Yeah.
And it looks like it's totally, and it looks like they've set it up, haven't they? Because she skipped town because Cash doesn't believe her, nobody believes her, and she's probably lost all sort of will to try and say she's
Yeah.
innocent, I guess, at that
Yeah,
point.
definitely. And you can tell he's really struggling with the whole brother cop thing, isn't he? He's really thinking, I want to believe you because you're my sister, but the evidence is telling me that, you did it and all of that sort of stuff. So he's going with his
Yeah.
gut, isn't he? He's not really going with the evidence. He's going with his gut and saying, no, this is my sister, and it wasn't her. So he's
Yeah,
flipping between the two, isn't he? Like,
he
oh,
is. Didn't he say at one point, what was it to Jazz? Didn't he say something like, I said I'd never get compromised or something. And I've
yeah,
like, it's almost like he's kicking himself, isn't he? That
yeah,
he's. I think he's always battled with that. Well, since Flick's arrived, with that brother cop, hasn't he? I think
yeah,
that's one of his big internal battles. I think you're
yeah,
right.
definitely.
And I think he's let it overpower him a little bit rather than
Mm.
looking at the objective facts. But I mean, none of it's been investigated properly.
No,
I've just said that, but
no.
burn the receipt that could actually, clear your sister, but never mind.
Yeah, I did
Um,
think that was odd at the time.
yeah, like they could have literally fingerprinted it. Oh, look,
Something, anything. They could have,
prepaid card, okay, yeah, but you have to register them things.
yeah,
Like, what website was it? There must be delivery detail. Like, never mind. You know,
yeah,
um, summer bay for you, summer bay for you. So, I mean, up to that point, I was sort of with that. I don't know about you. I was like, okay, she skipped town. Like, she's gone.
yeah,
I did thought,
yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
okay, she's on the
It was
run.
believable, yeah, believable.
Yeah,
You would be sort of cornered like that, wouldn't you? Be scared, thinking, "Oh, I'm going to go to jail here. I'm going to run away. Nobody believes me. I've got nobody to fight for me." So yeah,
yeah,
you'd be
and
scared.
absolutely. And Anne at that point, she, I mean, I just thought, well, that's the end of her. She's gone. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
And that I mean, we've seen him in the promo tonight, but
yeah,
she's still knocking about. But
yeah,
But yeah, so I was thinking, right, that's it. She's gone. She's going to be guilty. She'll probably be arrested somewhere else, down Yabby Creek or what have you. Down Shoe Zone at Yabby Creek.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like with a hoodie on, you know, like, like
I
they
know.
do.
Shopping next to Marilyn.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a very small place, isn't it? Really, there are not many places. I mean, the River Boys and Yabby Creek. They don't talk about many other places, do they?
That's where should have gone. Should have gone to Mangrove River with a black hoodie, hanging about with some wrong uns in it.
Yeah, should be a river girl. Should be a river girl by now.
Come back with Heath in tow. Oh dear.
Blood and sand tattoo.
You should be a writer. You should be a writer, Sophie.
I'd love that.
It'd be even more scandalous, I could tell.
It would.
So you mentioned Marilyn there. So moving on. Sorry. Before we move on, actually, because we catch up with this story then right at the end of this week, if you're 5-star pace like us, and it looks like Cash is sort of saying, "I've not heard from her." He's back talking to the investigator again, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he says, "Where would she go?" They're trying to think. You know, she's not even tried to get in touch, so they've gone to look for her. And this is what sort of started me thinking, right, something's not, you know, if she's on the run or whatever, you know, they're starting now to plant the seed that something's not everything is as it seemed earlier in the week when she left.
Yeah, looks like her phone's off and she's got no money and all of that. So you're thinking, how can she get very far then? If she's not took any money out of her account and stuff, you know, she can't have got that far.
This is it. Something's probably happened to her.
Yeah.
And then there's that. I think it's just an excuse for another scene with scary scary interview with someone.
Yeah.
Where they just sort of get Jazz in just to have a bit of a rat attack with a policeman because they make for good dramatic scenes. You know.
They do. Yeah.
Yeah. So they've had Jasmine back in to be interviewed, which I don't think she was interviewed earlier in the week, was she?
I don't think so. I don't remember seeing her being interviewed before, unless I missed it. But yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. So they've had her in, sort of thinking, does she know some of the girlfriend of the potentially bent cop? You know, because I think he thinks Cash has got some involvement, doesn't he? But
yeah, because he said something in next week's preview that he last time Flick did a runner, then Cash did a runner as well. So what's that story about? That's interesting.
Yeah. So, we'll find out.
We will. I'm desperate to find.
But Jasmine's not happy, so she just sort of tells him.
Yeah.
You know, I know my rights. See you later. You know, so.
Yeah.
So, I think it's a little bit like there's more complexity than we originally thought, I think. And it's going to be coming. So, on to Marilyn, and we can't not talk about Marilyn. Highlight of the week. I mean,
absolutely. That one line about the burger absolutely killed me.
I'm mostly internet looking at Twitter.
I know. I did go and search on the hashtag after that. I can't be the only one that found that hilarious.
That was my favourite, along with something like, "Gosh, you never get any service around here, and I'm not working." So wonder anybody pays, and I'm thinking nobody pays nothing.
No, I never see anyone pay.
And these days, the closest we get to someone paying is someone waving a card machine at someone.
Yeah, true.
The same happens in Salt. Like, don't think we don't know the till is an iPad with a screensaver on it.
I know. Oh, it's so funny. Oh, it did make me laugh. I
know. So for those, you've probably gathered now, if Marilyn's awake. She's been taken out of a coma from superstar Dr. Logan, who was sort of scratching his head, thinking, "I've tried everything. You know, why is she not? What is it? What's she not running? There's something I'm missing." And there was a scene, wasn't there, where at the hospital and Mac, one of my favourites, Mac.
I love her. Yeah.
Yeah. Such stuff. She comes to the hospital with some lunch, just about lunch. She's like, "Yeah, are you okay?" And he's like, "I'm just really,
Yeah.
Can't get my head around it. Doesn't he say something like, I can fix people, I can mend people, but mysteries annoy me or something? He said something along those lines,
Yeah. He doesn't like unanswered questions, does he? He doesn't like not knowing
Yeah,
what's going on. Yeah.
yeah, because he's this macho, fixes
Yeah.
everything, jumps out of
Yeah.
helicopters, rides a
Yeah.
speedboat kind, isn't he? So,
Yeah, definitely. It's
um,
exciting. Yeah.
which is fine for the viewers, like, it's a bit of
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
Um, Tori would never have dreamed of it.
Yeah.
And they sort of drop in there, don't they, that he's become the head of ED, which
Yes.
seems like a bit of a demotion.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I was laughing a few weeks back when he was, there was this, because obviously he's sort of sticking around for Mac, and
Yeah.
Mac's like, but you're this like adrenaline junkie, like go and live your
Yeah.
life, like
Yeah.
nothing ever happens around here. And I'm thinking it's probably the busiest hospital there is.
Yeah,
Like,
I was thinking the same. I was like, everything happens in the bay. Everything you can think of has happened in the bay. So it's just filled with drama and
I know.
adrenaline.
We're overdue a shark attack, so keep yourself on hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. We need another
So
disaster. There's going to be another disaster soon. There's got to be,
it's imminent in it. It's got
it's
to be.
got to
Um,
be.
so I was thinking, yeah, you don't know what you're in for if you think you've come here for a chill. So, so he's head of ED, and it just sort of gets dropped in there, doesn't it?
Yeah,
As like a quick
yeah.
sideline. So
Oh, by the
we've got to
way,
mention
yeah.
it because it's quite a big part of the bay because the hospital is used quite a lot,
I think
quite a
they must
lot.
have paid a lot for that set because they get their money's worth for it, don't they?
They do, don't they? They do. It probably just takes up the whole place. They
It
just filming there
probably
for weeks. Have you ever seen like when the collapse at the hospital and you're like, that floor's filthy?
yeah,
Like someone should have cleaned it. It's not supposed to be a hospital.
I
Have you
know.
ever thought that? I
I
have
have.
many a
And then
time.
I was thinking that when Dean and Ziggy were sort of getting jiggy on the hospital bed, and I thought, oh, I don't think I'd want to do it there.
Oh my god.
I know.
I couldn't. Honestly, that was so
No,
cringe.
it
So
was
cringe. We'll come
awful.
on to those.
Yeah.
Um, so he has this sort of brainwave, doesn't he, Logan? And he's like, I'll just wake her up, and
Yeah.
it'll work. So she wakes up, and she's in a foul mood, to put it lightly, and
Yeah.
immediately kicks John out of the
Mm.
hospital room. She's sort of all right with Irene at that point until she realizes Irene's like talking to John.
Yeah.
Um, but all is not what it seems, and Marilyn's obviously had some sort of side effect. Nobody knows what, but she's come out with this sort of personality change, hasn't she?
Yeah,
And she's not the
definitely.
Marilyn that went in there or spent a night on the bark underneath a tree.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. She must have been on the personality transplant list, I think, in the hospital by accident.
Yeah, yeah, maybe that's maybe that's what Logan's done by accident, not without realizing it. But it's made for hilarious viewing. If you're listening to this and not watch the show, what you're doing? First of all,
Yeah.
watch the show first, and second of all, um, you know, yeah, if you've not seen it, you've got to see it. It's hilarious. She's basically tearing around the base. She's checked herself out of hospital, and she's just being rude AF to everybody, like. And some of the comments we've mentioned, like she's ordered a beef burger, a Bloody Mary. She goes straight to salt, and she's like, get me vodka." Like, although I don't think she's teetotal, is she? I'm sure I've seen her.
I think she does drink because she was drinking at the the charity fundraiser that Martha had. So
Yeah,
yeah, I think she
yeah,
does
she
have a
had the old
drink.
bubbly there, didn't
Yeah,
she?
yeah.
Yeah. But her
But
first
I'm not sure
experience of
she drinks Bloody Marys though.
I'm not sure she has either, by the looks
No,
of things. It was just tomato
no.
juice.
Oh.
But she's in this foul mood. She's snapping at everybody
Yeah.
and being played phenomenally well by
Oh,
Emily
she's
Simers, of
brilliant.
course.
It must be such fun to play because Marilyn has been such a samey character. I mean, she's one of my favorite characters actually, but she's always been pretty much the same, hasn't she? And I bet for Emily to be something different, it must be so much fun to play that.
I bet it is after such a long time. Like you say,
Yeah.
she's such goody two shoes. Do you think? Why have I just lost my train of thought when I started asking you a question?
Oh no.
I don't know. I don't know. It'll come back if it's that good. But yeah, no. She's one of my favorites as well, and I think, like you say, oh, that's my question. I found it again, Sophie. So, I think she sort of reset into like young Marilyn. Do you know what I
Ah,
mean?
yeah,
Do you know
maybe.
like young Marilyn she used to speak a little bit more extra, and
She
she
did.
used to
Yeah.
be, yeah, and she was just that little bit more scatty, and
Yeah.
that little bit, and obviously as she's grown older and wiser, because Marilyn used to be the reason she's such a good character is that she never really cared what anyone thought of her,
Yeah.
in that everyone thought she was really dumb, and a
Yeah.
bit simple and a bit of
Yeah.
an airhead, but she
Yeah.
never really, that never bothered her.
No.
Um,
Yeah.
she was always just herself, and I think that's what makes her so likable.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely. Yeah.
but I'm sort of seeing some of the. It's like Marilyn, sort of 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
old, like young Marilyn almost. I don't know. Maybe I'm just, you know. But yeah, she's that little bit more high pitched and a little bit more scatty
Yeah.
and
Just
saying things,
yeah.
because that used to be her thing. She'd say things muddled up. I
Yeah.
don't know if you remember.
Yeah. I
Like she'd
do.
say
Yeah.
the wrong thing all the time, and then everyone would
Yeah.
like roll their eyes or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
Or when
it's
she
a
was
little
married to
bit.
Donald, he used to correct her, didn't he? Because he went all school teacher on her, like, no, that's
Oh
not the
yeah.
right thing, Marilyn. And she'd be like, oh, Donald, I'm sorry.
Do you remember when they were getting married? I mean, I think we're showing my age here now, but
Yeah.
um, she was like, I'm going to be Mr. and Mrs. Fisher. That's the first time I've been Mr. and Mrs. Fisher, but not for you, Donald. You've been a Mr. Fisher before. And he's like, well, yeah. She's like 22 or something, and he's like
I
50.
know. Oh, bless
Amazing.
him.
Some of my favourite scenes of those were like when she was in London and he'd written the book,
Oh,
and
yeah,
I
she was
tweeted about
there.
it today.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sort of ran away from him. I loved them
Yeah.
episodes.
They were there. I
Um,
forgot about those. Gosh,
takes you
that was a
back,
while
takes
ago.
you back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So she reminds me of young Marilyn, a
Yeah, I
little
think you're
bit,
right.
and yeah.
Mm.
So that saga continues. She's gone to Irene's. John's staying out of his way. Poor John. I know John's a bit of a,
I
everyone's annoyed about. You
I
don't
was a
deserve
bit
any of that.
conflicted. I was a bit conflicted about the John things. At first, I was like, "Oh, poor John," and then there's this deep part of me that's still a little bit sore with John myself, a little bit miffed that they broke up. So there's a little part of me that found it very funny that she was being quite mean to him. I was like, actually, I'm a little bit miffed with John still as well.
Yeah, same. Well, the whole Susie saga,
Oh,
um,
Susie the scammer. Yeah, just no. Yeah.
which Marilyn made sure. She reminded this first one of the first things out of her mouth when she came out of the
Yeah.
coma.
Yeah.
We're divorced. Your girlfriend made sure of that. Like, although I'm not sure that was ever like divorce was a thing, was it? I don't know whether that was actually explicitly told us the divorce was finalized. I'm not sure that was a thing, but
I can remember Susie's trying to serve the papers to Marilyn, and they kind of fell out, didn't they? Because she was saying it's nothing to do with you; it's between me and John. But I don't remember the divorce actually being finalised. It must have been by now, I guess.
well, yeah, clearly.
Yeah,
Okay, maybe that's them confirming that age. Then
yeah, that it's over.
blink and you miss it type explanation. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, but I don't think he deserved to be
No,
quite
no.
and I really like John and Irene. Well, I'll just touch on this. John and Irene's friendship. I'd
Yeah,
hate it if it went any further. I think I'd
yeah.
hate it.
Oh
But
no,
I
as a
really
couple,
like,
no,
yeah. Oh, can you
no,
imagine?
no.
Irene would be back on the ground.
Oh God, you would. You'd
which
have to
which
with
is
John, wouldn't you? You'd have to.
yeah.
Just
But
to
that's
get
my
through the
favorite
day.
Irene as well.
I know. Oh, bless her. Oh, you know what? Sometimes my mum doesn't watch Home and Away anymore, but she used to watch it years ago, and she absolutely loved Irene. And occasionally she'll say, "Oh, do you still watch it?" And I say, "Yeah." And she goes, "How's Irene? Is she still on the wagon?" I'm like, "Yeah, she's fine."
It's
Like
all
I
right at
know
the minute. Yes.
her.
How's your mate, Irene?
Oh
Every
dear.
time I've got it on as someone comes in, everyone just goes, all right. No one says it proper, do they?
No,
Anyway.
I love it.
Funny. The trials and tribulations of a home and away fan in 2022. Is that the
Definitely.
year we're in? Yeah.
Yes, it definitely is. Yeah.
So Marilyn's back with Irene. She's sort of got her there, hasn't she, to keep an eye on her. And
Yeah.
then Mazzy's sort of saying, "Oh, I want to go shopping," and she's like, "You can't go anywhere on your own, and leave me alone, Irene." And you're
Yeah.
doing my head in, and she's being nasty to Jasmine while she's staying at
Oh, I
Irene's as well.
know. Yeah, everyone's getting it in the neck. There's no one safe from Marilyn.
I know, including half of Yabby Creek by the sound of it. Tell us about her shopping trip.
I know. It sounds like she's caused chaos. So I think she had a go at somebody that was trying to serve her, and then she's got fed up waiting to pay, hasn't she? So she's actually legged it out the store without paying for something.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah,
you could just picture it. They should have filmed these scenes.
they
It would
should
have
have.
been
That would have been
gold,
hilarious.
wouldn't it? It would have been gold. It was probably COVID times and shops were probably shut, but obviously
True.
COVID doesn't exist in
If
the
they had
Bay.
filmed it, I reckon Chloe and Ryder could have put that on the internet, and they could have got some views off that video.
That is so true. See, this is why you should be a writer. Interweaving the stories, None of this block storytelling nonsense.
Yeah, just stitch them all together. Yeah.
So obviously when they come back to the diner and she's like, mouthing off to Leah, isn't she? Like saying, "Oh, Irene's not left me alone." She's like, "Yeah, well, she was shoplifting."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, they were ignoring me and weren't serving me. Well, I soon became number one priority when I was legging it down the street."
Yeah.
And what was it she stole?
Was it
a
a
thingy
meditation bowl or something?
meditation bowl.
I don't know what that actually is. I'm going to have to Google that because I don't know what one is.
Yeah,
but
someone
I think
look that up.
Yeah, someone tell you what it is on Twitter because I need to Google that.
Yeah, so, please attach a picture. Save us some energy. Meditation bowl. There we go.
That's what they said. Yeah.
But she didn't turn up at the diner with it, so they've obviously took it back. So there we go. And they probably don't sell many of those.
Yeah.
In those parts.
I don't think there's much pull for them apart from Marilyn in Summer Bay.
That's it. Well, the saga continues with her. We don't know what's wrong with her, so we'll keep our eye on that and see how that unfolds. I hope we don't go over it too quick because I'm really enjoying that.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I'm sure she'll be cured by Tuesday next week. Do you know what I mean?
She probably will. I'm really excited to hear what the actual medical explanation is, though, for this change of personality. Yeah,
me too. She's mentioned, though, in this episode tonight, I don't know if you picked up on it. I know, maybe I'm just reading too much into this, but she mentioned she's got a headache and she's lay on the couch, isn't she?
Oh,
so maybe something's changing now. Maybe she's on the come down or something. I don't know.
Possibly, yeah.
From all the pesticides.
Gosh, making me worried about Martha now as well. Thinking, is she okay? We haven't seen Martha for ages, have we?
Yes. No. Well, so have I missed something? Because I might have been like looking at something else, but she's in the city having dialysis, isn't she?
Yeah.
Is she now in ICU? It's like Alf's like rushed there, hasn't he? But it took him like 3 episodes to actually get in the car. But like he was like rushing off there. And he'll be back in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's true. Did she take a turn for the worse? I don't know, actually.
Yeah, I feel like I was given the information, but it's not gone in.
No, me too.
There was a phone call. He was in the surf club office. There was a phone call, which I'm assuming was with Rue.
Yeah.
So I think it must have been. I just probably wasn't paying attention.
I think I did as well. I think I must have switched off. Yeah.
It's because it's Martha. Honest to God, it's so boring.
She is a bit of a flake, isn't she? She's a bit flaky.
Can you believe? We're going to digress just a tiny bit, if you don't mind, because I'm going to have a bit of a rant moment. Yeah.
Go for it. Love a rant.
Would you mind? So they've rewritten Alf to be this massive bigamist, which was annoying as it was, right? And, the angelic Elsa that we all remember, right?
I know.
Mother of the Bay, right? So we not only did we have to overcome all that to get Martha back alive, right?
Yeah.
We have to accept that she was alive all along, and Alf knew about it for donkey's years and didn't tell no one.
Yeah.
Till it was blown down a mine shaft. Oh, you can't make it up. Or down a hole, or whatever it was. But now but she's never here.
No,
but she's, so they literally come for 3 episodes and then they go for 3 weeks and then they're back for and then they're off to Marimbula again. And it's like, how are we supposed to invest in him and Alf if they're never
Yeah.
here. And
Yeah.
I feel like all she does since she's been around is just take Alf away from the group, away
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
Irene and
Yeah.
and the other oldest.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So now,
Yeah.
like, we feel like Alf's doing now. He's bobbing in and out all the time.
He is.
Like,
Yeah, and he's my favourite, so I do miss him. And when he used to leave and do the pantos for months, and he was disappeared off the screen, I'd be like, "Where is he? When's he coming back?"
oh yeah, when he killed Pengraham, just send him to prison for 6 months for murder. Be right.
Oh God, I love it.
Those were the days.
They were.
Yeah, it's really pissed me off. I thought if they're bringing her back, make it big, make it
Yeah.
something worthy. Like she's come back, done a bit of painting, whinged about her other personality. This is really insensitive. And then she goes she goes away. Like,
Oh, I think you're
oh
right.
really?
Yeah.
The most interesting thing was the tearaway son.
Oh yeah. 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 That was it. That was a good storyline.
Even though he's your favourite, they're warming us up to getting used to a home and away without Alf.
I know.
Maybe
Well,
they're
I've been trying to warm myself up to that for years. I'm thinking he's not going to be in this forever. So you need to get a grip. Like the day that he goes, I'm going to be a mess.
30th anniversary, 31st anniversary.
I know. I'm like,
every anniversary, you're like, oh.
Thank God he's still here. But I know he's on borrowed time. I know he'll be going. So
maybe there's method in the madness. Maybe they're just getting us you because obviously if you just went one day, everyone. I mean, it's going to be worldwide news, isn't it?
Yeah.
And even though no one watches it, they're going to be like, "Oh, that's still going."
Everyone knows Alf, though, don't they? Even people that don't watch it, they know him. They know Mr. Stewart. So he is home and away. He is home and away to me.
Exactly. So, are the show doing it on purpose so that he isn't? The show is the show without him. Do you know what I mean? Maybe there's method in the madness, but it's annoying us long-term fans because he's just doing naff all the time.
Or maybe Ray's trying to cut back on his hours. Maybe it's his decision, and he's just thinking, "Oh, I'll just go part-time." Maybe it's that. I don't.
Do you reckon?
Well,
how old is he now? Do you reckon?
Oh,
he's
gosh,
getting on.
I wouldn't want to guess it and offend him. I don't know.
Because he's listening to this.
He might be. You never know.
If you're out there, Ray.
Hi, Ray. I love you.
He's there downloading podcasts on his iPhone 12 or whatever.
I can just imagine that. Oh, bless him.
Oh, dear. Alexa, play a podcast. Jesus Christ. You go out.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, so from the old bay to the new bay, let's have a look at Bella and Nick. So Bella really needs to go back to TAFE or something, in my opinion. She's got too much time on her hands, and we know what Bella with nothing to do looks like. Screechy, moany, Bella. And she's not happy, is she, at the social media star that Nick is, and he's back on the socials.
Yeah,
she's not happy.
They're just the most miserable couple to me. They're never happy. They're so volatile.
Aren't they?
I can't warm to them as a couple at all.
Well, that might be because Nick's made of wood.
Yeah.
It's the same face whether he's happy or sad.
I know. You just can't tell. He just looks miserable to me all the time. I just think, oh, cheer up, lad.
I know.
Oh dear.
That's it. Cheer up. That family have been a bit of a disaster. The Paratas. They needed to keep Gemma in.
Yeah.
But that's probably a conversation for another episode. Yeah. But Nick and Bella, and she sort of she gives him an ultimatum in the end, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She sort of goes to him and she's like, me are the followers. Like, I'm thinking this ain't going to end well. You know.
I know.
You know.
I thought he was going to pick Instagram myself, but
I did. You know, the endorphins and all. You know, the ego being. You know, he did delete it, didn't he? In the end, but
yeah.
a bit. You know, I think do you know what's going to do? That whole thing, it's not about Bella and Nick, really, that storyline. It's about teaching the young uns that watch
Yeah.
about their actions on social media. It's one of those preachy line storylines, isn't it? Where it's like, don't be nasty on social media.
Yeah.
So that's what it was about. So that's why it was sort of over, done and dusted in like a day. But um, Bella's problem is she, like I say, she's got too much time on her hands and she's insecure. She's
Yeah.
insecure after what happened with Sienna.
Yeah.
You know, Wicked Witch from the West. So she's and I think we've all been there, especially in young relationships. You know, that does eat away at you, no matter how much you say
Yeah.
or
Definitely.
you try and keep it down. It bubbles up, doesn't it, in the end?
Yeah.
So that will probably happen long term. I don't see that lasting long term.
No.
And obviously, then we've got the other young uns, or as young as they get these days. We've got Chloe and Ryder. They've broken up, haven't they, the week before? In an I'm going to do air quotes amicable split. But they've got this weird debt that doesn't even make any sense because it'd just be refunded or you just ring the bank.
I know, it's bizarre. It wouldn't happen in real life, but that's summer made for you, isn't it?
I know. Also, like, you're transferring £2,000, mate, it's going to want your thumbprint or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's going to want your fingerprint on your phone for something like that.
That's not a small amount, is it? So,
Remind me not to bank at your bank, right?
Good point.
He wants to send Marilyn into the branch while she's down Yabby Creek, get a refund sorted out. She'll have it. Yeah.
She'll
have it. She'll have it started in no time.
Oh, she'll get her money back and then some, I think.
Absolutely. So yeah, they've got this debt, and they've bizarrely third wheel Theo. Hashtag third wheel Theo. Obviously he's just hanging around like a bad smell because he's got the hots for that awful thing called Chloe. Please tell me your thoughts on Chloe, Sophie. Come on, tell me your thoughts on Chloe.
I'm not that keen on Chloe.
I'm sure you know, man.
I'm not that keen on her. Bless her. I have tried to like her, but I know I got a bit of respect for her tonight on the episode that played out on 5 Star tonight at the end, because she did sort of wise up to Theo a little bit at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not a big fan of hers. Bless her.
No, she's. I think a problem is Ryder's quite loved. Like, Ryder's really likable, and she's sort of changed him when she got paired with him, and then the fact that she's pretty weak. Like, when she first came in, she was like, "Oh no, I can't look in the diner. I'm well better than the diner." And it just immediately, do you remember? And immediately you're just like, "Oh, she'll rack off." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, So we don't like Chloe, and everyone who listens will know how much I don't. So
poor girl. We don't like her, but you know.
But Theo does. Theo sees something in her. I mean, he's blind as well as stupid.
Does he though, or is it the fact that he couldn't have her, so he wanted her? This is what I'm not sure about Theo. He seems to treat everything like it's a game. You know, this whole Ryder versus Theo thing. I don't think it's just about the chilies. I think it is about winning Chloe over and all this stuff. So I'm just not. I don't know. I think if she was single, he probably wouldn't have been that interested in her from the beginning. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, you might be right there. And she says that to him, doesn't she, tonight? I think you've got a point there. She did say, didn't she, everything's a game to you. Did you just kiss me because he was there and would you have filmed his reaction? Like, that's exactly what Chloe said, isn't it? You know, it's all a game to you. But she definitely is falling for him. And you know, I think it says a lot about her character when it's the second he was in the bay and sort of giving her the eye and messing about with her in the diner. She was proper going for it. Like, she was proper flirting with him and stuff.
She loved the attention.
Yeah, she did. And I suppose when you've got such a sensible, straight-laced, dependable boyfriend like Ryder, I suppose a bad boy in a nice flash car, so, you know, shows you a bit of attention. I suppose it does flatter you, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it would do.
So she's gonna, isn't she?
Yeah.
I don't understand Theo, because is he skint or not? Like, he's got the big car. It doesn't seem to be bothered about holding down his job at the garage.
True. Yeah.
He offered to lend the money for the debt, but then I just don't get it. And then but then they're doing these silly videos for money. He seems
Yeah,
to have
that's
enough
true.
time on his hands to help them to. By the way, that they're really over egging how quick you can get viral.
I know.
There's going to be
bless
kids
them.
up and down Australia on YouTube, like,
Yeah, thinking they can go
oh,
viral
I've
in a
only got
day.
5 views.
They should get
But-
Nick on the videos. If he's Mr. Famous, they should be getting him on the videos and
I
getting his
know.
followers to watch them. I was screaming at
Yeah.
the TV the other day. I was like, get Nick to tweet your YouTube videos. He's the famous one, not you guys.
Spot on. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. He's got all the fans, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Turning up to surf
supposedly.
lessons. It's thwomped over the head with a surfboard.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so they're trying to get rich quick, and
Yeah.
they do the chili challenge, don't they? Ryder, delicate little Ryder's chuck it up in the bathroom, and he plants a kiss on her, and she loves it, doesn't she? She loves
She
it,
does. Yeah.
and I think it's wound her up a bit that she liked it, because that's, when you were saying like tonight, and she does sort of tell him to back off, but I think she's doing it because she don't trust herself.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
could be
mean?
right. Yeah, you could be right there. Yeah.
And because it's annoying me a little bit, they keep sneaking little chats behind Ryder's back,
Yeah.
and so Theo's not bothered about Ryder in that sense, I mean, and why should he really? To Theo, he's just another guy, do you know what I mean? But they don't really know each other that well, but and he probably thinks of him as a bit of a wet lettuce, but he's not taking into account Ryder's feelings. He's just sort of second Ryder's back's turned, like, listen, let's talk about this kiss. Like, how nice was it? You love it. You like me. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
And I think Chloe has a little bit more of that conscious side. I think that okay, I don't really want to hurt Ryder's feelings, and I don't trust myself not to like it. So let's just park that for now. I don't know.
Yeah, she has got a conscience. He absolutely hasn't got a conscience, has he? Just doesn't care who gets hurt, or as long as he gets what he wants, he's happy. But I think she has got a conscience, So.
Yeah, she has a little ounce of one. I think
a little one.
Yeah. I would not be surprised if next week, talking about like them proper doing, it all being blown up, and Chloe and Theo giving to the temptation. I would not be surprised if this time next week that's what's happened. To be honest.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's going to happen. It's on the cards, isn't it?
Yeah, and then we'll all be like, poor Ryder.
No, and then it'll be third. He'll be the third wheel then.
That's not going to work, is it?
We're going to have to come up with another catchphrase for him. So we have to work on that one.
Yeah, we'll have to have a think. That's not going to work. That's not going to wash. No. Right, that brings us to the end. That's everything, isn't it? No other action in the bay this week. It's been a big jam-packed week.
It has.
How was your first time on the podcast?
Excellent. It's been so good to have a chat with someone that's as big a, stalker of the bay as I
am. There's loads of us out there. We've just got to
find them. Join in.
Admit it.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with loving the bay.
No, love the bay. I think that was like a tagline one year on some of the adverts, I'm sure.
Oh.
Yeah, like they do like it's coming back on TV.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was like
Bay. Back to the Bay was one, wasn't there?
Yeah, I love the Bay, and there's been a few, haven't there, over the time. But yes, thank you very, very much. Appreciate that, Sophie, and it was really great to have you. Do come back.
Oh, I'd love to come back. Thanks for inviting me.
Just come back every week. Just come back every week. So, do like, subscribe, download this podcast wherever you get your podcast from. New episodes every week, recapping the latest episodes of Home and Away on Channel 5 and 5 Star. And if you've got a little time, please rate and review this podcast on Apple and Spotify. Thank you very much. then on to the segment that we're calling First Look, new for season 2 of the podcast, where we take a quick look ahead of the synopsis of the episodes coming up in the week ahead on 5 Star and Channel 5 in the UK. So if you're not wanting any spoilers whatsoever, just skip forward a minute or so, just to avoid any of the action coming up. It just gives us a good idea of what we'll be discussing on the podcast next week, and also what we'll be watching throughout the week. So Monday night, it says Anne promises to take Tane to where Felicity is hiding. So Felicity is hiding. She's left town, she's hiding. What looks like Anne seems to know where she is, but instead lures him into a trap. Okay, so Anne's she's still at it. She's still after Tane. We don't know why. We don't know what that motive is. As Sophie and I were just talking about, why is she doing all this? Someone please explain. Theo's confidence in his drinking ability leads to extremes. Oh dear. There's nothing. If there's anything worse than Theo, it's probably going to be drunk Theo. Tuesday, Tane and Felicity are in danger from Anne's plans, so it looks like Anne is really unhinged at this point by Tuesday. Let's not read any more of that, because that sounds like it could be exciting. Irene sets a hard boundary with Marilyn. Okay, Irene laying the law here by the sounds of it. Marilyn still looks like she'd be in a pain by midweek next week, and Mia faces a figure from her past. I wonder who that could be then. Somebody turning up in the bay by the looks of it, a new character maybe. Mia faces a figure from her past. I wonder who that's going to be. That could be interesting. Wednesday then, Dean decides it's time to move forward and faces the emotional aftermath of his trauma. We need to get on with that, don't we, really? And Mia tries to avoid questions about Chloe's father. Okay, so the person from Mia's past looks like it's Chloe's father. Wonder what he wants. Hopefully to take Chloe away from us all. Nico seizes a professional opportunity. Let's hope it's in Japan modelling. Oh dear. Bella asks for a trial run working at Salt with Mac. Okay, we've literally just been saying Bella's got too much time on her hands. She needs something to do. Yes, Bella, get a job. Ziggy works to ease Dean's fears about driving. It wasn't driving he wanted to get up to this week. One thing at a time. And when Tane returns to the gym, he runs into Felicity, and the two comfort each other. Oh, it sounds like they're coming full circle. It sounds like it's going to be a lot happening next week with them two. And Ari convinces Nico to keep pursuing his life-saving course. So that must be Nick's new job, lifesaver, eh? I wonder how that's going to go down with him and John, if John's going to be training him. Do you remember John used to train all the new lifeguards, Jen and everybody? So I wonder if Nico and John get a bit of a fraught relationship going on there. Guess we'll find out weeknights on Channel 5 and 5 Star. Thank you for listening. I shall see you all next week. It's been a blast. Have a nice week. Bye-bye.